Good morning, YouTube, and happy hump day to you. I had to look at my calendar to see what day it was because these days it all seems to be a bit of a blur. Anywho, I wanted to say thank you for joining me today and coming back to my channel. This is still all very new for me, and I'm definitely ironing out a few kinks as I go along. Today, we're going to be talking about two pieces of advice that I have to give for anyone who is thinking about starting their own business. For context, a couple days ago I was on a YouTube channel and somebody asked for the best piece of business advice that they ever heard. And instantaneously I thought that the number one thing that most entrepreneurs forget to factor in when they're building their business is emotions, or as I call it, emotional equity. What do you have? What are you working with? And how is the state of things in your mind and in your heart while you're building your business? Now, most people don't really think about emotions as they pertain to starting a business. After all, most people are more prone to think about getting an MBA or, figuring out a spreadsheet or building a marketing plan than figuring out how to keep themselves happy, at peace, full of joy, and productive while they're building their baby. Now, this is especially important when you get into business and start doing well for yourself or get to a point where you might be. So for example, I take myself back to the very start of my career where I desperately wanted to be successful. I think I was in my 20s and I was driving down a country road one day and it just hit me, this insane passion to be somebody. And I remember screaming out at the car window, I want it all, at the top of my lungs. And I was in this charismatic passion, furor, if you will, or fervor, that I don't think really was appropriate for my business, or just in general. See, you can't really get anywhere in life if you think that you're only gonna ride in the adrenaline roller coaster to get there. I think a lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of hustling and grinding and working themselves to the bone until there's nothing left. And then when they finally do hit their measure of success or the orders start coming in or whatever it looks like, there's nothing left of the person to enjoy the success and all the hard work. They put their soul into their company and they got nothing left. I worked with somebody who is the head of the CEO of a major tech company. And this guy put his absolute soul into his company and his family fell apart. And I remember watching this happen over the course of a few years and just slowly seeing things kind of fall apart for this man. And it's because he didn't have his priorities right. That's a whole other topic. So let's go back to emotions. All right, so you're starting your business, you've got a deal opportunity, and you get really excited. You think, hey, I'm gonna make $5,000 or whatever the number may be. You get this emotional reaction out of the potential of something happening. Now, in a lot of cases, that potential can convert into a closed customer or an actual revenue source for your business. But in many cases, as I've learned out, there are times where that simply doesn't happen. And all of that emotional energy that you had, the excitement, the thinking about what you're gonna buy or what you're gonna pay off or how you're finally close to being actualized as a person and an entrepreneur and you're gonna prove everyone wrong. This happens. When the deal crashes, all of that energy doesn't really know where to go and it causes chaos and panic in somebody when things don't go according to plan. So how do we overcome this? Well, it's a difficult question and it's taken me a lot of time to figure out, and I'm still not quite there yet. But here are three important things that I think you can do to manage your emotions as an entrepreneur. Number one, put yourself first. You have to be in the driver's seat of your business and your life if you ever want to get where you want to go. Put yourself first. That means getting enough sleep. That means going to the bathroom when you need to. That means not working on things that put you out of your comfort zone or your integrity. It's really unique to you. You have to take care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, then what you're doing is you're poisoning the captain of your plane. It's not going to have a happy outcome for you. So number one is put yourself first. Number two, as an entrepreneur, find things that you enjoy doing and find a way to add those to your workday. In my case, if you look behind me, I have a piano, there's an electric guitar, I have my easel, a bunch of paintings, there's a fish tank on my desk. What I've done is I've created an environment where throughout the day, I get to do little things that still bring me joy. And it's a reminder of the reward that you can get for being an entrepreneur, which is having your time back. And if you never take an opportunity to enjoy the fruits of your labor, even if that means taking a 5-minute bathroom break or shutting your phone off for a couple of minutes because you need to de-screen yourself, if you're not doing these things, you're missing the whole point of why you got into this business, or why you may have gotten into this business to begin with, which is working for yourself and having freedom and ultimately having a better life. The third piece of advice I have for this is, remember when we talked about the excitement that you had before you closed the deal? How you had all of the daydreaming about what you would buy or how your life would change, all of the above? Well, I like to daydream, and you probably do too. And most people I know tend to have a pretty nice imagination when they think about making $100,000 or $1 million or whatever the number may be. I want you to take that piece of imagination and that energy that thinks about all the things that could occur and translate that into all the things that need to occur in order for that outcome to happen. What I mean by this is pretty simple. This morning, I went to my favorite coffee shop, Perk, in downtown Lewisville, Texas, and I got a cup of coffee. There were a couple things involved in order for me to get the cup of coffee in my hand. I had to speak to the barista. They had to enter the order. They confirmed what kind of drink I wanted. My answer was the usual, surprised me. They had to process the transaction. I had to insert my card. There was a data transfer that occurred between my card, Square Payments, my bank account, and their bank account that occurred. Now keep in mind, all of these little steps are occurring while I'm getting my cup of coffee. And if you look at this example, what you're doing here is you're taking that live wire imagination that you have and you're applying it and you're using it to understand the mechanism and the function of a business. Now this is really, really, really important because in every business or any operation, nothing is magical, nothing happens on its own. In order for something to occur, there has to be some sort of a push or a piece of energy. And sometimes, at least in my life, I've neglected to factor in the amount of energy it actually takes to make something happen. For example, I'm learning this very well with my own business as I get ready to launch AaronPlatt.com and begin selling products. A lot of the work that I need to do for this site, I've put off for a long time because I simply didn't think about how long it would take to do it. I thought, hey, maybe this will take 5 minutes, so I don't need to focus on it right now. The result is that I have a tremendous amount of work to do during late nights because I didn't really actually factor in all of the different steps and all of the time as well as just energy required to make something occur. So kind of to recap here today, there are 3 real important steps here to managing your emotions. Number 1 is be good to yourself. You have to put yourself first. Number 2 is find ways of honoring and enjoying yourself throughout the day while you're working. This can be something as small as setting a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and giving yourself permission to have a mental vacation. The last thing is to think about the process required. What are all the steps required in a business? Now, this is a little bit different than the usual or the other 2 emotional pieces of advice I have for you. And the reason for that is that when you think about things through a process-oriented way, what you're doing is you're building teeth, if you will, or you're kind of giving yourself something really legitimate to understand and to use and to work with instead of just speculation. Additionally, having a process around something that you do helps utilize your emotions in a healthy and productive way. It's a lot easier to work on something when you're happy doing it than it is when you've had an argument or a fight with somebody that you love and care deeply about. It's a night and day difference. So all that to say, this is one of the most important pieces of advice that I have for entrepreneurs. In my own journey, I don't think that I was really conscious of the emotional aspect of what I did until really a couple of years ago. Most of the time, I simply thought that entrepreneurship and business was just about being the best or being able to think a certain way. And I really shortchanged myself and a lot of my own personal development and opportunities I had to just enjoy the ride by not taking time to remember that I've got to be good to myself, my emotions, my sanity, and my well-being. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope that you're enjoying this channel and continue to grow and evolve with me as this channel shapes and shifts. But that's it for today's Hump Day. I hope that you have a great week this week and that you find new ways to keep yourself encouraged, happy, healthy, and successful in whatever way you deem possible this week. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.